Alright, what's up guys? Limitless here, and I think I finally got the, finally got the dimensions right, and I think I finally got my mic right. I think I finally got everything with the production value right besides intros and all that jazz. But, you know, what I really wanted to do, I'm gonna start becoming pretty busy, coming up because I have an internship, in a week. World Cup is starting to heat up with round two, and I just got a lot of stuff to do. But I thought this was perfect opportunity to start promoting the underused forum, simply because Grand Slam is coming up, and we're starting to get a lot more users, and I'm liking all the contributions that everyone is doing. Probably gonna do a ladder tournament soon again, because I've noticed ladder is slowly not becoming as prominent as it once was. Obviously, that was because the ladder tournament was so competitive, but that is that. And so, what I'm going to do today is what I think most people have trouble with. Certainly, I had trouble with it for a very long time in OU. And then in UU, I just played a lot, and I think I've grasped team building a lot more just from playing so much of it. But so pretty much, what I'm going to go into today is kind of how I build bulky offensive teams. I'll go into balance offense or straight offense, whatever, stall and other things later. But today I really wanted to get into bulky offense because I feel like bulky offense, if you can build bulky offense, I feel like you can build anything, because you'll really understand like archetypes and roles and everything. Heavy offense is a little bit different in that there is still roles and it's kind of the same roles, but it's really not. It's more of you, predicting the flow of the match, kind of visioning flow of the match. If you send in this sweeper, what kind of stuff is it going to attract both offensively and defensively? And then your next Pokemon is going to have to be able to build up on that too. In UU, I don't really think that there's enough sweepers to really take advantage of that type of thing. Obviously, I think it's possible, but there's just so many breakers in the metagame that there's not enough sweepers, I don't think. Like in OU, there would be like Dragonite, Dragon Dance, and just a whole bunch of other stuff. But, and then stall, and balance is pretty much the same idea. Just have a good solid core, and then either hazards or more coverage or more breakers and sweepers, etc. But, in building balance, it's kind of the same idea as building bulky offense, but instead of having checks, instead of having counters, you're having checks. What I mean by that is that in bulky offense, in balance, you'd have a Slowbro here, right? Or you'd have an Aroma, Momo. If you're in like a bulky water for like Victini and Darmanitan, so you'd have Mega Blastoise or Suicune or whatever, all these bulky waters, and those are all for Darmanitan, Victini, sometimes Machop in here for Slowbro, etc. And Heracross, but well, not really Heracross, but you get the idea. But so it's covering this range of Pokemon right here, right? And so what you need to do in bulky offense is have a check for Victini, for Darmanitan, the same things that checked those things. And so, what is a check to Darmanitan, Victini, Entei, etc.? You could see Victini here. You could, every time that Entei uses Sacred Fire, you switch in Victini. Obviously, if rocks are on the field, it's a little more annoying, but this is bulky offense. You have to kind of deal with it and see what's useful and what's not. But, you have Victini, and so you just U-turn or V-create or do whatever you need to do, depending on their team. But I like Victini. I like Entei. If you look at what else can switch in, Aerodactyl, maybe, sometimes. Hydreigon, sometimes, maybe. Mega Blastoise, yeah. If you want that defensive type Pokemon but still offensive, yeah, I like it. Ampharis I've actually liked a lot. as a pivot. Bulky offense, pivoting is a really big deal because it allows you to keep your momentum and just keep keep that offensive pressure while also being able to have a defensive fallback. That's kind of the idea of balance, in which I think momentum is really key. That's why I like using Bikini a lot in bulky offense, because if they use like Sacred Fire with Entei, I can just U-turn out while they switch out, because it's pretty obvious that they're not going to switch. Sometimes they do stay in, but usually you can tell when they're going to do that. So you have Mega Ampharos, so Bikini V creates, you Volt Switch. What else is there? Rodham H is a good pivot too. Arcanine, great. Chandelure, yes. Entei, Okay, so you kind of get the idea here. Noivern also works. So all of these Pokemon can work in bulky offense for this specific role that we're looking at. So, if we're gonna, I guess also Infernape could work, but it's not really that bulky, but, whatever. So let's start building a team, right? I'm not going to build a whole team, but, let's see. Ampharos, and I actually have never built a team with Ampharos. I mean, I have, but nothing good, so this is new for me, too. I'm not, like, just creating a team I've already made. Alright, so Mega Ampharos. So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to look at what exactly, what else can you not beat? Or you can, there's a lot of roles to fix. So, it just depends what you want to do next. So right now we got, the fire type, the water type covered. So we're still going to need something for Heracross. We're still going to need an early game breaker, aka stuff like Heracross, Kyurem, Wall Breaker Hydreigon works too. What else is there? What you're looking for in a breaker is being somewhat bulky, being able to take Scalds, like Heracross, like Kyurem, and being able to pretty much put dents into walls, both physical and special. Sometimes it could only be one way, but generally you want something that is just really, really, really powerful. This is probably the most stagnant spot, in that you're going to find very few Pokemon that can do this role reliably, and so you're going to find that you're probably going to use the same Pokemon over and over again. But the more creative you can get, as in the more, more creative sets that you can find, is really going to help you be able to diversify yourself. Specifically, stuff like, Wall Breaker Kyurem, Wall Breaker Hydreigon are very, very helpful. If we look more into this, I'm trying to find stuff, and I'm sure I could find more. But the idea is be bulky enough to take Scalds, and like, normal wall things, and then being able to fire back. Alright, what's up, guys? I'm back. And, so sorry about that. Anyways, so now that we have Ampharos, that's mainly for, the fire and water. So we're gonna add Heracross because, as I've said, Hydreigon and Kyurem would mainly overlap the weaknesses, or resistances rather, of Ampharos, and so we're just gonna add Heracross now. That's gonna be choice banded, so that's gonna fill the role of our breaker early game. So what's next? Well, if we look at what we're still weak to Heracross. We're still weak to kind of Mega Aerodactyl, yeah, big time. And so yeah, let's see. So we're probably going to add Crobat. Crobat looks good for fighting resist for Heracross. What else do we have here? So Chandelier could work, Dual Blade could work, anything that really, it's the same thing. So Noivern could work. Noivern would kind of overlap the coverage with Ampharos, and it would provide another Ice and Dragon weakness, so we don't want that. Let's see, of the things I've mentioned already. Doughblade would actually, it would overlap ground weakness. Chandelier overlap ground weakness. So I think Crobat is generally the best option here. We're still going to be weak to the ice, but that's kind of an easy thing to work with. This will also allow us to have defog. So Crobat is looking good there. Okay, so what we kind of want also is a sweeper. And we need a Stealth Rocks. So Stealth Rocks, can be, we're going to figure that out last. So we still need Stealth Rocks, Scarf, and a Sweeper. So, just looking at what we're still weak to, we're still weak to Mega Aerodactyl pretty big time. So our, remaining Pokemon generally are going to want to deal well with Mega Aerodactyl. So it's not that all of them have to check him, but so what I want to do actually is add Lucario here, but this is going to be Bullet Punch Lucario, and so it's going to lure Mega Aerodactyl also, and so it'll make Crobat sweep late game also, and just give much better time for Heracross and Ampharos against more defensive teams that have Mega Aerodactyl, specifically stall teams. So Lucario with Bullet Punch. So Swords Dance, Bullet Punch, right? Extreme Speed. I'm not going to do this for all of them, but just so that you guys get the idea of what I'm doing here, team building. Swords Dance, Adamant, obviously, Life Orb. Crobat is probably going to have to fog just for, some weird sticky web teams, because if they get a sticky web, it's probably not in your best interest. So what do we still need? We still need Stealth Rocks, and we still need a Scarf. So of the Stealth Rocks users, there's Jirachi, Swampert, of the viable ones in bulky offense, let's say. There's Aerodactyl, but that's going to overlap with already a tremendous ice weakness that we have. Oh yeah, also Lucario worked well here also because we have such an ice, pull that it's going to lure in chances for Lucario to set up. It's also going to allow Ampharos to set up, if they have if they have the Draco Meteor. So let's also, let's look more for Stealth Rocks users. So there's Mew. Well, I think we should just find a Scarf user first. So looking at what type of Scarf user. Alright, so we're still actually really weak to Chandelier. Specifically, yeah, we're just really weak to Chandelier. So, that's something that automatically comes to mind is Hydreigon. I use that a lot just because Chandelier is really a bitch to play against. But we're going to look anyways. So what other Scarf users deal with Chandelier? I imagine Scarf Crocodile could work. Anyways, a lot of, stuff could work depending on what Stealth Rock user you want to use. But just for simplicity's sake and just for the fact that it's kind of obvious, I'm just going to use Scarf Hydreigon. And so that covers a lot of our weaknesses right now. So it's also going to lure in Draco Meteors from, Hydreigon and stuff like that. So more chances for Lucario to set up. And then for the last thing, we're going to look at, what Stealth Rocks user we really want. So looking at the teams, we're still weak to, we're still pretty weak to Aerodactyl. We're still pretty weak to Lucario. So yeah, looking at this, so there's some things that come to mind right away. Probably something like Donphan could work. What else? Stealth Rock users. Hippo would not work unless you used like some like rock slide set. I guess Hippo could theoretically work, but I don't really like Hippo. I mean, we also already do have Defog, so we probably actually wouldn't even have to run. So we could actually run 3-attack Donphan, which I like. We could also run Jirachi with Fire Punch, since we already have Defog. So I'm going to make this last a lot more about resistances, since Stealth Rocks users, they generally do the same thing, but you want it to fill in their team. So we're weak to Aerodactyl, clearly. Let's see, what other Stealth Rock users? Cobalion, that's interesting. Are we weak to Hydreigon? That's also a question. Slightly weak to Hydreigon. Very slightly. But then you could also just set up your Lucario. Also, another good thing to mention is that since I don't have Crunch, every time they bring in Slowbro, I can just send an Ampharos, and just pivot out. I can also send in Heracross to break more. So yeah, that's also something to mention too. More with that momentum thing I was talking earlier. So more Stealth Rocks users. We could, I would like Empoleon, but then that would just make our weakness to Lucario that much worse. Could run Swampert. But we already have quite well with the resists. Oh, I mean, but we do have, I was thinking Donphan too. Rhyperior? No. Claydol. Claydol's interesting. But that would be 3 ice weaknesses. Wait, but I already said that, damn it. Donphan would add to that ice weakness. So what I'm thinking actually is Swampert's probably the best option. Fully defensive for the Lucario, obviously. So yeah, let's head Swampert. The thing that I don't like about this team is that we're still kind of pretty weak to Lucario. So you're pretty much going to have to speed tie it or play really careful with it, which is not terrible since I don't really see a lot of Lucarios on the ladder, which is really surprising to be honest. So yeah, I mean, I kind of like this team actually. You could actually run Donphan here, but that's 3 ice weaknesses, and I don't know, that would be 4 ice weaknesses, and I don't really like that. So Swampert kind of works. So I'd go fully defensive. The only thing I don't like is that Swampert kind of overlaps coverage with Ampharos. Yeah, like a lot. So What you theoretically could do is run special defensive Swampert. I don't even know if that's a thing, but so that it would help with Hydreigon. Yeah, that could actually work. And then have Ampharis be physically defensive. Oh, if you run specially defensive Swampert, you could actually switch Hydreigon to something else. You know, another Scarf user that could deal with Lucario. So, I mean, you could run like Scarfarachi or something. Yeah, I actually like that. Alright, so, I mean, you guys get the idea. Once you get the main point of the team down, which was kind of Ampharis, Heracross, Crobat, and Lucario, these last two slots, your Stealth Rock user and your Choice Scarf user, is kind of interchangeable, and you're just going to have to edit that. But, you know, your main core is going to be this, which I actually really like, and I'm probably going to actually try to make a legit team out of this kind of idea. But yeah, so I really like Lucario in the metagame. It's really underrated. Bullet Punch is a beast. But you really have to run Bullet Punch because Mega Aerodactyl is just way too common and just hard walls you. So, yeah. Alright, so that's it for my team building for UU. So yeah, I hope you guys learned at least something from this. You know, I tried to, you know, build a team with you. I didn't just pre-made this team and just, you know, like, oh, you know, this Pokemon sounds cool because I already made the team, but no. You know, it was new for me too. I use this thread on the daily. That's why I'm trying to get it organized quickly so that you guys can learn. But yeah, that's how I build my bulky offensive teams. It's really about finding checks when you would previously use counters, and then just having enough offensive pressure to just do the same exact thing. And remember that a lot of it's momentum. So see, I have Ampharis as momentum, I have Crobat as momentum, I have Hydreigon as momentum, and then that's going to shove into Heracross being able to just pound through teams. That's going to be allowing Lucario to pick its spot to set up. And basically, and for Hydreigon, who is also able to break late game. So it's just really about having the right momentum. Oops, I should not be here. Okay, yeah, so that's pretty much it. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have some team building guides later for stall and heavy offense and everything else and balance. So that's that. I'm gonna try to come up with some more quality content for UU. So peace, guys.